Let's go to Commanders fans. Quick video here. So, Myles Garrett has requested a trade. He did put it out on Twitter, basically saying a farewell. And I think you got to pick up the phone, man. You got to pick up the phone. So, yeah, he made a statement. He says, quote, "As a kid dreaming of the NFL, all I focused on was the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl. And that goal fuels me today more than ever. My love for the community of Northeast Ohio and the incredible fan base of the Cleveland Browns has made this one of the toughest decisions of my life. These past 8 years have shaped me into the man that I am today." So with that in mind, I have requested to be traded from the Cleveland Browns. There is some other stuff in the writing, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. But you guys, remember the article from Bleacher Report? I'm not saying Bleacher Report, what they said is gospel. But they did, this came out on January 28th. This is when we saw the article. And I made it last week when they talked about Max Crosby, Kyle Pitts, and Deebo Samuel, Garrett Wilson. If those guys become available, this is what the article says. Should a top tier pass rusher like Myles Garrett or Max Crosby become available in a trade, the Commanders will probably make an offer. The same could be true if a receiver like Deebo Samuel or Garrett Wilson hits the trade market. Washington may also consider making a play for tight end Kyle Pitts, who has been underutilized by the Atlanta Falcons ever since his rookie season, even if Ertz is retained, providing Daniels with a tight end who can stretch the field, who would aid the second-year quarterback significantly. So I do think there is some merit from this article. I do think, like I said, I'm not going to take this article as gospel because we could end up with none of these guys. Max Crosby did tweet out last week or a couple days ago that he wants to be freed or something like that, or he wants to win a Super Bowl. He wants to go somewhere to win a Super Bowl. Some tweet like that. And, so he could request a trade as well. Kyle Pitts, who knows? He hasn't lived up to the hype, so he could be traded as well. Garrett Wilson has definitely expressed his displeasure with the Jets, so he could definitely be traded for sure. So whoever wrote this article, I feel like they are plugged in a little bit with Adam to add in Deebo Samuel, because to me Deebo Samuel is terrible. I'm not a big fan of his game. He was good like 2 years ago, but the recent years, the drops, the complaining and getting on Twitter and complaining about not getting the ball. Next thing you know, he drops the ball against the Bills. So, but I feel like the tie between Deebo and Adam with the 49ers is where the guy, whoever wrote this article, is getting the information from and stuff like that. But let's get back to Myles Garrett, man. So Myles Garrett is going to take 2 first-round picks. He was voted to be like the AP Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, we don't have to go over a bunch of analytics and metrics about Myles Garrett because we already know who this guy is. Myles Garrett, even though we held him to 0 tackles, 0 sacks when we played him, he was nursing an injury, going through an injury through that game, but he still had a heck of a season. He had another All-Pro season this year too. Like, that's how good Myles Garrett is. Even throughout injuries, this year he still played well. He made a Pro Bowl this year. PFF's number one edge rusher, NFLPA first team All-Pro, AP first team All-Pro, and Sporting News Defensive Player of the Year. And this was with a bad team. Deshaun Watson was their quarterback. We blew him out 30-13. Jaden didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter. Like, we blew them out. We shut down Myles Garrett for the most. We chipped him, doubled him, and Jaden was just really good at getting the ball out and being mobile. They couldn't stop us. But Myles Garrett this season, 92.8 pass rushing grade first, 83 pressures first, 23.1% pass rush win rate first in the NFL, 18.2% pressure rate first in the NFL, first in everything. Myles Garrett is a straight up dog. He is a dog. He is a blue chip player, and he definitely would change the trajectory of this defense. Of course, you got to trade him and then pay him. Probably wants to get a new contract, get a new deal, because other guys are making more than him. Like Nick Bosa is making more money than him. Josh Allen, Brian Burns, who definitely should not be making more money than Myles Garrett. But I get it. When you get a new deal, you get more money. T.J. Watt is making more than Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's the 5th highest paid edge rusher. Montez Sweat is getting $24 million, and Myles Garrett's getting $25 million per year. Myles Garrett, if you look at his contract, he becomes a free agent in 2027. So you would have him for next season and 2026. He may want an extension. Now, the comparable trades that I did look up was really the Khalil Mack trade. That's like the only trade where you can really look and be like, okay, that's something that's comparable. For sure. So the Bears gave up to get Khalil Mack from the Raiders. They gave up a first-round pick in 2019 and a first-round pick in 2020, a third-round pick in 2020, and a sixth-round pick in 2019 to get Khalil Mack. They got Khalil Mack. In return, the Bears received a second-round pick in 2020 and a fifth-round pick in 2020. So they did get picks back. So if you do, kind of like Marshawn, we got like 1 pick back from trading Marshawn. We traded like 3 picks and we got 1 pick back attached to Marshawn Lattimore. It would probably be something similar to that, where you trade 2 firsts and a third and then you get Myles Garrett in return with like a second or third round pick, either this year or next year's draft. That would be something that you would get back from the Cleveland Browns. Everybody wants out of there. They know the direction of that team. Deshaun Watson towards Achilles again. Even if he was coming back, they just knew they weren't going anywhere fast, and they were going to be a bad team again. Myles Garrett wants to win, and if Adam Schefter, what he said is true about people wanting to come here, I think Myles Garrett may be like, hey, tell his agent, hey, there's a list of teams I want to go to. It's going to be the Commanders and maybe some other teams in the NFC. They probably don't want to trade him within the AFC, I would imagine. We cannot let a different NFC team get Khalil Mack, especially a division rival. And I hate to say it, we know how aggressive the Eagles are. Josh Sweat is leaving. They got some guys that are leaving from the edge. And you know how aggressive they are. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to make a move for Myles Garrett. If we let that happen, and we've seen Adam Peters be aggressive with Marshawn, so I think he'd be aggressive again, getting a and let's look at how he does against the run. 78.4 run defense grade, which was 11th out of 211 edge rushers. So not only does he get to the quarterback, but he slows down the run game as well. 14 sacks this year, which was third amongst edge rushers. 92.3 overall PFF grade, second out of 211 edge rushers, 3 forced fumbles, 14 sacks. I mean, we don't really have to go down the numbers, man. So let me know what you guys think. Josh Hart from the Knicks already tweeted out. He's like, Commanders make that call. We know Josh Hart from the Knicks is from the DMV. He's a big Commanders fan. He already tweeted that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-time Pro Bowler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-time All-Pro player. I'm sorry, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6-time All-Pro player, 6-time Pro Bowler. And 13 and a half sacks the sophomore year, 16 sacks in 2021, 16 sacks in 2022, 14 and 14 again in 2023 and 2024. And he takes the ball away. 3 forced fumbles this year, 4 forced fumbles in 2023, 4 forced fumbles in 2020, 3 forced fumbles in 2018. The guy takes the ball. We talk about ball is life. And we look at the last game of the season, we just couldn't slow down the run game really for the majority of the season. And we didn't get pressure on the quarterback. And that's something he would definitely do. A defense with him, Frankie, John and Jerome, we'll see what we do with them. But he would elevate this defense. He would elevate this defense. So I know people want to hang on to the first round picks and stuff like that. We have to maximize this window with Jaden Daniels while he is on a rookie deal. You have to maximize the money that we have right now and the draft capital that we have right now to either draft guys or just give it to veterans, trade it for a veteran that we know can immediately help this team. And Von Miller is another comparable one. Not really, but he was traded for a second and a third round pick. Myles Garrett is 29 years old, so he's still not super old. He still probably has 3 or 4, really 4 or 5 years left in the tank for sure. So we saw what happened in the playoffs, and we saw where we need to improve. We need to improve in the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line, we need to improve in the trenches, and Myles Garrett is a guy that could certainly do that. He's a guy that could come in and wreak havoc on quarterbacks and get to the quarterback and make it easier on the defense, make it easier on our cornerbacks as well. He's the youngest player in NFL history to reach 100 sacks, only player in NFL history to record 14 plus sacks in 4 consecutive seasons. So, hey man, like I said, that article, we'll see how true it is, but I do think Adam should at least pick up the phone and call the Browns for sure. Call their GM. I forgot his name's like Andrew something or something like that, I think. What's his name before I log off here? Andrew Berry. Yeah, Andrew Berry is the Browns GM. So, hey, man, like, we got it. We got to stop the run, man. We cannot have this porous run defense that we had this past year. The defense has to be better. Jaden had to carry the team on the shoulders at times. The offense, we had to score basically 30 to win games. It was like, if we can get 30, we can win. That's where it was during the season, for sure. Because we knew we couldn't slow down. Every playoff game we had, even the games we won games giving up 100 yards on the ground. Like Jahmyr Gibbs, he had 100 yards on the ground. Bucky Irvin had 70. James Conner had 100 yards on the ground. We still won. Bijan Robinson went crazy. We still won. Like, we just knew our run defense was going to give up a lot of yards, and we knew we were still going to win the game because we had Jaden Daniels, and we were just moving the football and finding ways to win games late. But Myles Garrett would definitely change this team and this defense for sure, and I think it would help out Joe Jr. for sure and ball his life. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. I know everybody wants to hang on to the first-round picks, but kind of think of it this way. Like, if you're going to draft Luther Burden, would you rather have Luther Burden or Myles Garrett? You kind of think of it that way a little bit. Would you rather have Mike Green from Marshall or Myles Garrett. Of course, there's more picks included too, so it's not just Luther Burden versus Myles Garrett or Emeka from Ohio State versus Myles Garrett. But you guys get the point. Would you rather have a rookie out there, or would you have a veteran Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M, the rookie? Would you rather have a rookie out there, defensive end, or have a stud All-Pro MVP caliber player, Myles Garrett? All right, guys. As always, Health Commanders. Peace.